3D appliques are in vogue at the moment, and we've seen different fashion designers incorporating them into their styles and designs, and the end result usually looks amazing. I mean, look at what we have right here on the screen. I've done my best to share a couple of tutorials on how you can also create these types of applique and incorporate them into your designs. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing another 3D applique tutorial with you all, and it's from this particular video that I saw on Instagram the other day, and I went ahead to create something like this on a particular style of outfit, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing that whole process with you. So if you will be interested in knowing how this entire process works, how you can create something like this and incorporate it into your styles, please make sure you watch this video to the end. Remember to subscribe to this channel, share this video with a friend, and like. Alright guys, let's get straight into the tutorial. Let's go. The first thing you want to do is to decide the type of fabric you want to work with. For me, I'm working with this polka dot organza fabric, and you also need to go ahead to reinforce the fabric. For those that don't know how this whole reinforcement process works, I have a whole tutorial on this process. I'm going to try my best to link it on the screen. Feel free to check out that tutorial, but what it entails is adding hemming glue to the middle of your fabric and joining two pieces of fabric together to give it more structure and more width. After doing this entire process, I went ahead to cut off the excess fabric at the sides where my hemming glue did not get to, and once that was done, it was time to move on to the next stage in this particular tutorial. For those that are a bit confused and they don't know how this entire process works, like I said earlier, I'm going to link a video. Please try your best to watch that video right after this tutorial so you'll be able to understand everything that just happened here. I decided to move through this really quickly so I don't take too much time and this video does not drag too long. After doing all the cutting of excesses and adjustments here and there, the next thing I went ahead to do was to draw out my pattern on my fabric like so, and I'm using freehand. For those that cannot do freehand drawing, please buy what we call a stencil. I've also talked about stencils in a different video. For those that are new to my channel, if this is your first time of stopping by my channel, welcome to the channel. I suggest that you watch my Funmibi Olawore designs playlist and my beading tutorial playlist so you are up to speed with everything that I get up to on here on my channel. What I'm doing here is I'm just drawing circular shapes on here on the fabric using my tailor's chalk, and then once that was done, I went ahead to use my scissors to just cut out these freehand patterns that I drew on my fabric. I later went ahead to make adjustments to the shape of the fabrics, so please take note of how I'm cutting and look at the shape that I created, especially if you are trying to do exactly what I'm doing in this video. However, for those that have watched a lot of my 3D applique videos, you know that the decision on the pattern that you're working with is all yours. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. If you want to draw triangles, if you want to draw pyramids, if you want to draw any shape that you like, feel free to go off. I'm just using this shape for the style that I'm going for. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm working with just 4 pieces of fabric, and you can call them petals, right? Because they have the shape of petals. After cutting them off of the main fabric, it was now time to start working on each petal to create our final design.
Hi friends, if you can hear any noise, it's my fan because it's really hot. I think for this portion, let me just turn it off because I don't want it fumbling with the sound. So what I have here are my fabrics, they are like petal-like shaped. Okay, for this you can do any shape you like, but this is what I want to go for the design that I'm creating. And I have my copper wire here as well in size 0.50 millimeters. So what I'm doing here is I'm just trying to measure out the length of copper wire that I'm going to need for this edge of this petal theme. And like we know from one of my previous tutorials, the work of copper wire is to give structure to items, right? To fabric, to hair accessories, to beads, embellishments, and all that. Anyway, now that I've figured out the the size of copper wire that I need. What I'm going to do next is to grab my fabric glue, and for the sake of this work I'm going to be using my E7000 glue. I hope my light is not too bright. Oh, okay, let me try and reduce it a bit. So I'm using the E7000 glue. As you can see, use any fabric glue that you like. This is what I just really like to use for my work. So I'm going to just apply the glue at the edge of the petal that I'm working with, like so. The reason why I like this particular fabric glue is because of the nozzle. The nozzle is very slim, so it allows for precision and neatness. If I was using maybe like the UHU, for those that are familiar with what the UHU glue looks like, it can get really messy and just become very annoying when working with it. So now that I have put my glue there, now it's time to apply the copper wire onto this portion of glue. So something like this. So the next thing we're going to do is just allow this dry down very well, dry down properly. Let me just set this aside because it has gotten tacky. Let's put this somewhere. Let's just sit down and dry down. So I'm going to repeat this for the remaining, because I plan to use 3 petals. I'm just going to keep this spare one for another project. Hopefully I get to use it. So I just want 3 petals. So I'm just going to apply my copper wire along the brim, and then I'll be back.
All right, guys, I hope I've not lost your attention. Right after applying the copper wire along the edge of the fabric, it was now time to also go ahead to place what we call our cup chain along the edge of the fabric, right on top of where the copper wire was placed. Okay, so this entire process also requires patience, and for the sake of this work, I believe you guys must have seen I'm using my E7000 glue. Feel free to use any fabric glue you like, but please do not use hot glue. Hot glue would not be appropriate for this kind of work. Okay, fabric glue is your best bet. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going over my copper wire with my glue, and then right after doing that, I'm just stacking the cup chain on top of it. I know someone might ask, I got this cup chain from Daddy Chidera in morning market at Rumumasi. Feel free to buy from your local sewing accessories shop. Daddy Chidera is in Rumumasi, and Rumumasi is a market in Port Harcourt. Okay, Rumumasi market is a Port Harcourt market. All right, so if you are living outside of Port Harcourt, if you are living in any other city here in Nigeria or even outside Nigeria, please get your cup chain from any shop where they sell sewing accessories in whatever country or whatever city they are living in. For those that are curious to know who Daddy Chidera is, I believe I've shared his contact in one of my previous videos. I'm going to try to link that video on the screen, so feel free to go to the description box of that video to get his number. But if you don't care for calling and all of those things, just go to your Rumumasi market. For those living in Port Harcourt now, go to Rumumasi market and ask for Daddy Chidera. He's a pretty popular person in the market. So yeah, I went ahead to just apply this cup chain around the edge of my fabric, and right after doing that, it was time to now couple everything together in order to get our fantastic, I don't even know what to call that shape. It's just like a cluster of 4 petals joined together. Please take note of what I'm doing here. This is how you want to fold the tip of your petal. Remember, because of the shape I'm working with, the bottom is kind of straight. It's not like curvy or anything. So I'm just folding that straight point at the bottom of my petal and just layering them on top of each other. If my explanation is not working for you, above listening to what I'm saying, please look at what I'm doing. And after I was satisfied with how I placed everything on top of each other, I went ahead to grab my needle and thread and just sew these 4 clusters of fabric together. Creating this design is pretty easy, and remember the video that I showed at the beginning of the video. Look at how everything, just a bunch of these clustered petals laid on the bust point of that dress. It made the dress look absolutely stunning. You can sew a basic dress, and by the time you incorporate all these 3D appliques to that dress, the dress will start looking very luxurious and beautiful. I hope you guys are happy with the explanation that I did. I'm going to keep quiet now and allow us jump back into what I'm doing.
All right, guys, so at this point you could stop, but because of the stitching that we did here, can we see, it won't be nice to just stop here. So you can as well either tack a cloth stone at this point, or you can just use these flat bottom beads, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a bit of glue under the bead and then place it at that point, like so. Because I'm extra, I'm going to add a couple more. Alright guys, so this is the end result. It's something like this that was used to accessorize the dress that was shown at the beginning of this video. You can incorporate this into your headpieces, your dresses, anyhow you like. Honestly, you can just make it an accessory for your work. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little tutorial. If you did, please give me a big fat thumbs up. Also, if you're not subscribed, please endeavor to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button on the screen. Also, remember to tap the bell notification right beside the subscribe button, so you'll be the first to know anytime I post a new tutorial. Thank you guys so much again for watching the video. Share with a friend also, please. Share, hit the share button and share with someone. Thank you guys again, and I can't wait to see you in another tutorial very soon. Bye.